What's up, guys? Welcome back to another squad video. This time we're going to be talking about settings and what settings should you be looking at, should you be adjusting before you even try to go into a public match. And so we're just going to jump in here. Of course, the first thing you're going to get is the game settings, and the number one setting that everybody says to look at is the field of view setting. Okay, make sure this is set all the way down to 90. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. The next thing that I like to change is my sensitivities. Okay, so the thing about the sensitivities are, you're obviously going to want to do this in the range. So load up the range, go in the range, adjust these numbers that seem to work best for you. I like to leave the free look at 1, and then I change my global sensitivity to basically half that. But it's going to depend on what kind of mouse you have and what type of acceleration or what type of sensitivity you have set natively on your mouse. Some mice come with onboard sensitivity settings that you can play with as well. So those are all factors that go into, and this is critical because this is how you aim, right? This is how you get rounds on target. So if you don't adjust your sensitivity, it's kind of like getting in a car without adjusting your mirrors in your seat, right? You can operate that vehicle, but maybe not to the best of your ability, right? So that's kind of the reason why you want to look at that. Now, you got helicopters in here, and then I like to go a little more granular and enable this, which will be disabled by default. And you can enable this, and then you get different sensitivities at various zoom levels, and then again down here the same thing for vehicles. So this is actually really customizable, if you will. You can do your global, your free look, helicopter, infantry, and then vehicle, and all that good stuff. So other settings that people like to change are this hold to lean and hold to free look. Some people like to uncheck this. Personally, I like to keep them checked, and that's mostly because of an Arma thing. I come from Arma, and that's the way Arma worked, so it was a nice easy transition for me actually to go from Arma to squad as far as the lean and the free look were concerned. But some people like to uncheck this, and I'll tell you basically why. Is that it frees up their fingers to basically move their character around while they're holding a lean. So if you're on a corner and you lean, let's say you hit E to lean right, with this unchecked, then your guy's gonna hold there, right? And then you're free to move your guy around. You don't have to hold E down. And so I've found myself basically doing this, but having to hold E. So I've thought about switching my playstyle, but then at the same time, I'm also not willing to spend the time just sucking basically to relearn how to use my Q and E. So I've kind of just kept it the same. But I do think that unchecking this is a little more efficient. So maybe got hung up on that a little bit, but we're gonna keep moving. This all looks good. Of course, you want to pick a resolution that's going to match your monitor resolution. And then for all of the graphic settings, I don't fuck with anything manually. I just go down here and I hit run benchmark. You click it, and then your mouse is going to freeze for a second, then boom, everything will adjust. And I found that this gives me the best performance as far as FPS performance goes. I noticed that recently a lot of people are complaining about FPS drops, and I just say run the benchmark. If you want to take it one step further, then get in the range and use the admin console to load up Fallujah, which is kind of like the most taxing map right now. Load that up and then do this same thing, run the benchmark. That'll kind of tax your system, and then the game will do what it needs to do. I don't know if that's actually going to make a difference or not. I haven't tested that theory. Maybe OWI can clear that up for us, but for the time being, those are kind of your two options. So then in audio controls, obviously super important, just because this is where your comms are going to be located and how you control your communications, or I mean your volume levels, that is, right? You want to make sure that you got your right device selected here, because otherwise your microphone or your headset may not work in game. I've had some trouble with that. Since I only have one microphone on my machine, it's the only one that pops up, so I just don't have that type of problem. So here I like to pretty much keep all this the same. I've adjusted this in the main menu a little bit just for the video, so I just, this is not too important. The important part down here is the command volume and fader. Okay, so you can fade the command voice and the squad voice either to the left or right ear. Some people, it's depending on how you want it. If you're kind of a right-handed person and right dominant, maybe you'll put your squad comms in your right, because that's what you're going to be using a lot more of, and then you're going to put your command channel in your left, because that's not your dominant ear, if you will, right? I like to do something like 60 and 60 like this, so I get it in both sides still, so I can hear like a nice full round sound, but then it's biased a little bit to basically one side, so that I can kind of differentiate between what's command and what's squad. Local comms, of course. I do like to bump these volumes up as well, something like this, where I'll kind of like waterfall them, if you will, where this is going to be like the command voice is going to be the loudest, squad voice will be the second loudest, and then local comms will be a little quieter. But I do like to bump this up a little bit though, just so that my comms stand above my effects and my master volume, right? Because I want my comms to cut through, right? I want to be able to know what's going on, what communications is going down, who's talking about what, where the contacts are, where the Vic is there a Vic, is that a friendly? The list goes on and on. So then controls, the only thing I like to change in here is my crouch, which is going to be under infantry. Oh, and I also like to, of course, like to change my bindings for my VO chat, my VO IP chat, which is, where's it at? Oh, it's under voice and command. So here we have local broadcast. I like to make local and squad. I like to make these mouse buttons, okay? And then that way my left hand is free to manipulate my dude and run around and aim and all that, when I can use my thumb on my mouse to enable my comms. Now the only thing that I haven't moved to my mouse is my command comms, which I leave on the keyboard, and that's mostly because I don't run SL a whole lot, and when I do, I find it that I'm gonna be, in a more administrative position and not a front position where I'm likely to contact enemy, where I need to be moving and communicating at the same time. As an SL, I can kind of hang back, let my squad mates push in front, and use my kind of conceal and cover myself, and then I can use my keyboard to do that. But I have been thinking about moving this to my mouse as well, as I've been playing SL a little bit more. So the next thing I like to change is the crouch. And again, this is going to go back to ARMA controls, where I change this to X. So now I have X to crouch, Z to go prone, and then of course by default the sight ranging is X, so I change that to control, which again is an ARMA thing. So basically I've kind of adjusted my controls here, my key bindings especially, for ARMA, and that basically helped my transition. So whatever works best for you, whatever game you're coming from, maybe you want to adjust some of your key bindings to align to that. As far as first-person shooters goes, I try to keep everything consistent. So even in like Insurgency Sandstorm, I'll change my key bindings to match what I like to call ARMA key bindings, and that's only because that's kind of where I started with tactical shooters. So and I played 2,000 hours in ARMA, So anyway, those are kind of the key bindings that I adjust to, but these are also some of the settings that you want to look at as a new player to help you, again, adjust that vehicle so you can operate it in the most efficient manner possible. So I hope this helped you guys out a little bit. I hope this maybe got your brain thinking a little bit. And if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, leave it in the comments below. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.